The day Christine was murdered lives in my head on repeat, starting with the early morning text Joe received from my father, in all caps, "Call me now," to collapsing on the floor after grabbing the phone and hearing the words from my father that Christine was stabbed and had been killed is mixed with my own screams, the two forever intertwined. My parents were going over a bridge on their way to Virginia for an overnight stay with Christine when they received the devastating news. I was full of anxiety about them driving after receiving this horrific news. The plan Brendan carried out with Juliana needed unknowing participation from my parents to be sure that they would be home, or that she would be home from work. They would still have several more hours to drive while informing family of Christine's murder, hearing shock and expressions of grief repeatedly. No parent should have to make that phone call, but they did it again and again. This is the burden of a parent that loses a child. Watching the immediate news coverage set off countless imagined scenarios. Somehow I found myself reliving something I had never experienced as if I had been there. I envisioned Christine's fear, felt her terror, and wished I was there to take her place. I no longer had a sister. I was no longer a sister. I said this on the phone with an old friend that day, and she told me that even though she was gone, we would always be sisters, and we cried. I flew to Virginia the next day. My parents picked me and my aunt, who had flown on from New York, up at the airport. They were quiet, moved slowly, and I could see the heaviness of the loss pushing them down as they tried to hold the weight of the pain my sister endured in the last moments of her life. I knew I had to be strong. I had to hold back tears not to upset them further. One day, Joe and I will be entrusted with caring for my parents as they grow older, and we will meet that responsibility with love. But no matter how much we give, it will never feel whole. That role was meant to be shared with my sister, together as daughters, making decisions, supporting one another, and walking through this stage of life as a family. Unknowing participation would be the cornerstone of Brendan's plan. He used friends and family to continue his affair with Juliana and formulate his plan. He used his own daughter as a part of his plan to bring her into the house to kill her mother. He lured an unknowing participant, Joseph Ryan, to his death. Based on the accounts from Joseph Ryan's loved ones, he had a kind soul, put others' needs before his own, and would have tried to protect my sister from harm, not cause any. During the course of the trial, I learned that on October 29th, 2022, Brendan and Juliana went to a gun range. That same day, I, along with our mom and aunt, visited for Halloween. We spent the day at various Halloween events in the area with Christine and Valerie, while Brendan and Juliana perfected this part of their plan. When I learned this, I went numb. I felt as though I had in some way been used to facilitate what happened simply because I didn't recognize the signs. Since then, I have replayed countless moments, fixating on small details and convincing myself that I should have noticed something, that there must have been a clue that I missed. But looking back with information I did not have at the time distorts what I actually experienced, yet the emotional weight of the guilt still feels real. The shame runs deep, and it has caused me to question my own judgment and perception, even though I understand that I was evaluating incomplete and concealed information. Guilt is meant to be tied to a choice, and I did not choose harm. Despite this understanding, I continue to struggle with the feeling of being drawn into something I never knowingly participated in. I know rationally that these feelings are misplaced, but I do not yet know how long it will take to fully reconcile them with what was done to my family and the way that I was implicated in it. I didn't truly know Brendan at all. I don't believe anyone did, not family, not friends, and certainly not Christine. His testimony was the most self-serving display of narcissism I have ever witnessed. He attempted to smear her through outright lies and victim blaming, accusing her of betraying the oath she took as a nurse, an accusation that not only attacked her integrity, but further wronged the vulnerable patients in her care. As Christine's sister, I didn't just lose her. I had to sit and listen to a version of her that did not exist. I knew her in a way that he never could. I knew her honesty, her compassion, her refusal to live with secrets. Hearing him attempt to rewrite her life and her character felt like losing her all over again, piece by piece, in a room where she could not defend herself. His lies did not just attempt to destroy her reputation, they forced me to relive my grief with anger and helplessness I cannot fully describe. He was the one that had countless affairs, several attempts at finding the right mistress that would eventually help carry out the plan with him, because the absurd line of questioning about a plan didn't just develop when he started his affair with Juliana. I believe she meant no more to him than anyone else in his life. She was just another person to control and exploit. What he presented as affection was manipulation. What may have appeared as love was nothing more than strategy. If there had been any genuine intent to build a life with Juliana, he could have chosen a lawful and honest path. He could have divorced and moved on. But divorce would have required relinquishing control, and control was always the priority. His actions were not driven by love, but a desire for power, deception, and a complete disregard for the lives he destroyed. The callous way he spoke about Christine will one day be heard and seen by Valerie. She will eventually come to terms with the fact that her father, the person who was meant to protect her above all else, used her and put her directly in harm's way. Valerie may hold only a faint memory of a life untouched by loss, but for most of her years, she will know her mother through grief and the stories of others share with her. We will do everything we can to fill those stories with light, so she comes to know her mother through joy and love, not only through the weight of what was taken from her. Christine's last words and thoughts had to be about Valerie. If she had done enough in the short time that she had with her, worry about who would care for her, not apologizing to Brendan and making sure he knew how loved he was. Christine chose to dedicate her nursing career to caring for the most vulnerable, to babies and children during their most difficult moments. She provided comfort to frightened parents who wish they could take their children's place. She made those moments more bearable with her big smile and infectious laugh. I can still hear her laugh in my head. Christine dedicated herself to her daughter, who will grieve her loss at every milestone in her life. I will be there, never to replace my sister, but to tell Valerie who her mother was, remind her of her big laugh and even bigger heart. I will tell Valerie how much she was loved by her mother, and I will forever carry both the grief of losing her too soon and the gratitude of having loved her for 37 years and being loved by her in return. That bond will not end because we will always be sisters. I want to thank the Commonwealth Attorney's Office for their commitment to pursuing justice, to the members of the jury for their time, care, and responsibility they took in reaching their verdict, to the Fairfax County Police Department for their dedication to seeking the truth and for honoring my sister and Joseph Ryan's life through your work, to the Victim Services team for their compassion, care, and support they have shown my family, going above and beyond for us during an unimaginable time. And thank you, Your Honor, for your commitment to fairness throughout this trial, for your patience today, and for allowing me this opportunity to share a small glimpse of who Christine was, what she meant to me and my family, and how her loss has profoundly shaped and will continue to shape my life.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please answer any questions that Mr. Carroll may have.
Any cross-examination?
No, Your Honor.
All right, and you can have a seat. Thank you.